occurred. First 911 call came in Sunday, February 12th, 2023 at 1:33 in the morning. Nathan Robbins and his friend were on the Tittabawassee River in a flat bottom boat when the boat capsized. Robbins went under and did not resurface. His friend was the one who called 911 and reported this. We had our dive team immediately respond and searched for Mr. Robbins. Were unable to find him that night and searched nearly every day, but maybe 3 days since February 12th to try and find Mr. Robbins. We've had the assistance of multiple sheriff's offices to include Bay, Genesee, Lapeer, Oakland, Livingston County, and we've also had the Michigan State Police out here to help us. Recently, within the last couple of days, we were out, as we always are, and the Michigan State Police brought their cadaver dog. It wasn't the first time, and it wasn't the first cadaver dog, but they operate cadaver dog programs out of headquarters in Lansing. It's a very specialized division that searches for dead bodies, human dead bodies, and the cadaver dogs were able to spot or sniff out a spot on the river where we ultimately located Mr. Robbins' body, about 100 feet from where the dog had alerted. And that's important to remember because, again, without the assistance of all of these sheriff's offices and the Michigan State Police and the dedication of my Marine and dive team, this would have never been a reality. So it took longer than we thought, but Mr. Robbins' body was found 400 feet from where the original incident was alleged to have taken place, and about 500 feet south of the bridge, M46 and the Tittabawassee River. His body was found 9 feet under the water, and that water, much like the Saginaw River, is full of dirt, mud, debris, sticks, and the visibility is next to zero. So it would be nearly impossible to see your hand in front of your face diving below the surface of the water, especially at 9 feet. So our divers actually went to the area where the cadaver dog alerted and swam under the water to the depth where the body was, and by feel alone were able to feel Mr. Robbins' body under the water. And so again, this job that the divers do, not anyone could or would want to do such a job. So my condolences go out to the family of the deceased. The medical examiner's office in Saginaw County was contacted. They arrived on the scene last night. The body was recovered last evening shortly after 7 o'clock p.m. And the ME's office is going to schedule an autopsy, which is standard procedure. That will take place sometime in the coming week, and then of course we will move from there. But the investigation is still open. Thankfully, we were able to recover the body of the deceased, and it's been a long process, a long, difficult process for the family, for the community, and for our officers, the men and women of the Saginaw County Sheriff's Office, as well as the other agencies that were helping us. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
My question is, other than the visibility, what other factors made it hard in this search?
Well, I've got one of my dive team members here. Would you like to answer that question on things that made it difficult? Come on over, and I will turn it over.
Anytime we're doing,
You got to come a little closer.
anytime we're diving in.
Do you want to come down?
Also,
Can you come down?
Come down.
Come on down. I'll help
And
you
then
down.
also say your, and then could you also say your first and last name and then spell
Come on
it
in
for
here.
us and pronounce it?
I'll hold this.
please?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Just say your name and your rank. And
I'm Ron Maynard, Reserve Sergeant with the Marine Division here of the Saginaw County Sheriff's Department. And anytime,
I'm sorry. Could you also spell that for us? Thank you.
it's Ron, R-O-N, last of Maynard, M-A-Y-N-A-R-D.
Just bring the mic down just a little bit.
Okay. The incident happened in early February, and anytime we're involved with cold water, cold weather, it greatly it makes things much more difficult. We had regulators freezing, and we had a lot of ice flows coming down the river that made it very hazardous to both the boats operating on the surface and for any divers that we chose to put down. So we initially searched the area where the boat was found, where we believed it overturned, and we spent a lot of time searching that area, and as the weather permitted, we were back out there, as the sheriff mentioned, almost daily, again, weather permitting, searching either with boats using technology, sonar specifically, or on various occasions we put divers down to try to determine just what we were seeing on our sonar, if there were a possible target that we needed to check physically with a diver. We did that.
The diver dogs, was this the first hit they had, or was there several hits and just for some reason this one worked out?
They had dogs out earlier, but I'm not a dog expert, but the assumption, I would assume that early on and in cold weather, it's just hard sometimes for the dogs to pick up. They did have some indications early on, but it wasn't as specific as the dog that came out Tuesday, I believe it was. That dog, it was a nice day, and it had been longer time, and the dog gave us a very strong indication. And so that's where the focus became, right in the area where the dog hit. And ultimately we located Nathan at that place, at that site.
My other question is, in a press release that I read, is the person who went under, Nathan, correct? The person who went under, his clothing got stuck to, I guess, the back of the boat. I guess what do you call it?
There's,
and then his friend helped him, but I guess, can you kind of go over that situation?
well, again, I obviously wasn't there to witness it. Reports indicate that they had trouble with the motor, and when the motor started, it may have been in a bad position and started the boat in a spin, and they were unable to clear themselves from the handle of the motor, and that contributed to the fact that the boat overturned and put them in the water.
Okay. And then my other question is, what's the status of the 23-year-old who the reports came from, the other person who's in the boat with?
You want to talk?
Sure. The person, his friend, Nathan's
Yeah,
friend that
right.
was with him, yeah, he was the one that called it in. Obviously, it's very traumatic. He was there with Nathan, and their intentions were just to be out and enjoy the nice weather that they had at that time on February 12th. So he's dealing with this, I'm sure, and would hope that he's relieved that we were able to find his friend. He was very cooperative and was very helpful from the start. So again, we're thankful for his contributions under a very traumatic time for him. These were young men in their 20s, and it's such a tragedy to lose any life, but especially in a circumstance like that. Other than that, again, I want to give a great shout out to our team. Very dedicated, more dedicated than you can ever imagine. And the Michigan State Police with their cadaver dogs. Fabulous. The divers, the Marine divisions from all those other sheriff's offices. I'll be writing personal thank yous to all of them for their assistance, and they came without hesitation.
One more question.